All right. Welcome. Welcome. All right, I'm going to give it a shot. Last couple of nights, there's no way. It started to scroll almost immediately. I maybe got in about 5 seconds, and that was it. And we couldn't reconnect. So tonight is our question and answer. So this is really, what are you smiling about?
I like your picture.
Oh. This is really controlled by you guys, not by me. So if I'm about to say something that goes against the censors, the third-party people that are trying to keep us safe, please stop me, hold me back. Please hold me back. A lot of interesting things in the news today. Our world is getting very interesting. It's good to be a homesteader, good to be in the farming business. It's probably the smartest thing I ever did, was to change careers and get into something that feeds my soul. I had a nice conversation with a man today who I'm probably going to meet this Saturday, who wanted to know if we were available to do a class. He's got some pigs he needs to get processed. And I hit the direction. And sometimes when you have scrolling early, at about 1 minute or 2 minutes, and then a little reconnect button comes up, and I hit that, we're good to go. So that's what just happened. And let's see what happens. All right, and I'm getting a message now that it's buffering. I'm really sorry about this, you guys. I don't control any of this. Thanks, Haven. Third time is a charm. Maybe we're going to be okay. I don't know. It gets a little disheartening. All right. Well, will this be the third time? All right, we'll try. I forget where I was.
This is what we do in farming.
Oh yeah. It's like farming. You can't quit because something isn't working perfectly. If we don't have a connection tonight, and tomorrow night and the next night, one of these days it's going to come back on, and we'll be okay, and then we'll pick it back up. But we'll do what we can here. We've tried putting in a booster for the antenna, and that was useless. And I'm not really sure what we're supposed to do. Maybe I got to call the company and find out. But the TV works fine.
Well, you're running off Verizon right now, not the Wi-Fi, right?
No, I'm on Wi-Fi right now.
Yeah, we have trouble with both. So.
Yeah, we're having trouble with both as far as streaming goes. Now, if I'm streaming on YouTube or on Facebook, like out in the yard or out on the farm, I don't have a problem. I've never really had. Happens now. And if I'm on Wi-Fi, that is Charter, right?
No,
Charter.
Verizon.
Huh?
Verizon.
No, Verizon is the hotspot.
Oh, yeah. Wi-Fi is Summit.
Summit, okay. So it's two different companies, so I'm not sure what the deal is. Okay, I think I have gone through a couple subjects already. Keep it going until it just will not work anymore, and then we'll try it every night to make sure it's not working. But don't give up on it. It's just a thing, I'm sure. I'm sure it'll come back and work perfectly like it did all winter long. We really had very good luck with it. And working out on the back outside, it worked very good. It started acting up when we moved inside, and I would have to move to this position, and it works fine here. We do have steel on the inside of this building, but it doesn't seem to affect it. It seems to work good here, like it's working good now.
Did you want to talk about the event Saturday?
Yeah, no, I don't want to talk about that. that was planned for Monday, and the event on Saturday, I'd like to give a full brief on that tomorrow, if I could. Things are going along fine. Okay, and you guys did see that. Jill shared that. The day didn't work out quite like we wanted it to. We had set up on one place in the farm expecting a large number of people, because we've had events here where you just get a lot of people, and so we have to be prepared for that. But originally this was supposed to be with our senator, and I think after the treatment I got from Senator Vanderwall, I wouldn't go out of my way to listen to anything that he's got to say. But then we shifted gears Tuesday, and this event was on Saturday. So Tuesday we shift gears and say, actually, Catherine Henry's going to be coming, to take Kurt Vanderwall's place because he punked on us on Monday. Pretty strong language, but it could be a lot stronger, actually. And so Catherine came, but it didn't give people enough lead time, really, to plan for it. So we had a small group, maybe 20 people, and then it got windy. So we had to move up to closer to the house. And Catherine ran into traffic, so she was, 45 minutes late? Half hour, 45. So things were just way off. And, but her and I did sit down and then talk in front of a group, and I think it was productive. She's running ragged, going all over the state, filling people in on against the governor of the state. And the governor of the state is totally rogue at this point. She got thrown out by the Supreme Court. All of her antics with this COVID-19 were squashed by the Supreme Court. And then she says, well, I got 21 more days. And then they had to rule on that, and they had to shut her down on that. So she's trying to get something going with the human services people. And, I'm disappointed in her, but I know who she is. I'm more disappointed in the people of the state of Michigan waiting to be told that they can go out of their houses. Come out, everyone come out, like the munchkins, They're waiting to be told that they can come out instead of just foraging out, being a free person, and living your life and enjoying the days that you have. You don't have that many days. I mean, relatively, you don't have that many. You're going to let that punk shut you down like that? Not me. So anyway, I'm going to brief on that tomorrow, what was said and why we're taking such a hardline stance on that. And I also had a subject too, if we needed to fill in a little bit, and it's accounting, all right? And this has been something that I am going through right now, just because it's the time of the year and it just comes into your head. You have to take an account of what you have, what your resources are, what you're going to need, where to relegate resources and things like that. And I think it's a good conversation to have. It's one of those, if we were sitting around here and we brought it up, I think there'd be a lot of input on it. But tonight is Wednesday night, and Wednesday night is Prince Spaghetti Night, or better known as Question and Answer with Mark and Jill. Now, Jill is right here, and I can swing this around if you have questions for her. We kind of like to limit the question anything, so long as it's in the realm of anything, we can engage on that. Raw milk butter. Somebody's just asking where they can get it.
I answered that one.
Oh, you did? Okay. So if you have a question, please put it in all caps so Jill can get it, and then I can go with it. Or if you have questions for Jill, just preface it with Jill. That's J-I, 2 L's, Jill. Today was, you got anything now, or I can just
Just that one I had mentioned to you earlier, so that you can keep going.
Okay, so today was one of those days, and I started to tell you about this guy I had a conversation with today. He's left his previous career field. I don't know doing what, but they came back here and they took over his grandfather's farm. And he was calling me to get some information and maybe and check into some consulting. They're not farmers, but they've just been looking around and they want to live the type of lifestyle that more or less like we live, and want to get there. And it does take time. You don't just step into it because there's so many things that you don't have set up on your place, and you don't know how to set them up, and you really don't understand the flow of a farm until you're there for a while. He's contacted me about consulting because, having done this for a while, I kind of have a little bit of a leg up on it, and I could say, well, do this, but don't do this. There's certain things that you would want to tell a guy, hey, don't do that. That's not going to work. Certain things. I don't like to be too dogmatic, as I say sometimes, but certain things, they just don't work out. But anyway, I was having a great conversation with this guy, and without sharing too much information about him, we were talking about what's important in life. And he said, well, at one time I had amassed a fortune, but I lost it. And I guess he didn't lose it all, but he lost enough of it. And he said it was a hollow comfort. What he finds comfort more in is something else, and I think they're trying to discover. I was leaving the military where I was, ripe to go and work for contractors, and there's a lot of money to be had, but I didn't see the merits in that, and I had just touched into farming a little bit. Jill and I lived off the base. I was still active duty, and we had this little 13-acre farm, and we had some chickens, and I had a few pigs, and and I really liked it. I got the contrast between my day job, which was working for the Air Force. Nothing wrong with the Air Force. It's a good job. But for me, would I want to do another 20 years with the Air Force? I was ready to do something else. And when I would spend time with my animals, and I would build things, and I would dream, and I would think what could be, work on projects and stuff, with my tools and with my hands, I said, no, that's what I wanted to do. Not a lot of money in that, Mark. Yeah, I know that. But there's things that are way more important than money. And I could tell you that now and believe it, not just say it because it's, sounds good. It is the absolute truth that the beauty of homesteading, small farming, maybe even big farming, I don't know, I never did it. There are things that are far more important than money and far more gratifying. And so I was saying to him, yeah, I get to drift off to sleep thinking about what I'm going to do the next day. It's part of my job is to prepare myself for the next day. And a lot of times those thoughts are nice to think about, even if they're things I really don't want to do. But if they're things that I don't want to do, they get put in a category, And I will tell you one thing that I used to think about when I go to sleep that I didn't really want to do. If I had to load animals in a trailer and hook the trailer to the truck, make sure the lights are working, drive down the road, hope I don't run into a cop with a problem, and get to the butcher, offload my animals and say sayonara to them, animals that I've taken care of and really stewarded for quite a while. I did not like that, and I didn't sleep well thinking about that, but I did it. I did it a lot of years, you know. If I had to, conversely, if I had a pig that I needed to butcher the next day or a beef, it's kind of, you go to sleep thinking like, oh, this is not stressful. You know, not at this point. Probably there's one stressful point in there, and that's where I have to raise up a gun and go shoot and bang. Nobody really likes that. It just gets less painful to do as you realize it's just part of the process. You know, it's part of the process. It's uncomfortable, but it is part of the process. And so you hone your abilities to do that to a place where it goes off flawlessly. You know where to hit. You know how the gun shoots. You know how to shoot the gun. You know how to set the situation up so the animal will be positioned properly. And there's very little stress involved with that. There was a time when that was highly stressful for me. But now I realize it's just part of the process. The skinning, the scalding, scraping, any of that stuff, nah, it's just work. And you just do it. And you whistle a happy tune while you're doing it, and pretty soon it's lunchtime. And I love lunchtime, and you know, it's not stressful. So anyway, I was telling them last night I got to drift off to sleep thinking about a set of doors that I need to make for my woodshed that have been building this summer, and I'm really close to completing it. And it was raining outside today, and I knew it was going to rain, and it's blowing. So building these doors inside under a roof is like, this is great. You know, I get to do this. It's not like I have to do this. It's like I get to do this. And I came up with a design that I really like using rough cut and some corrugated steel that I took off the barn. And when I got done with it, I'll show you guys what it looks like at some point. And I said, I get to do that. This is what my day is. This is my job today. And while I'm doing that, my cows are out eating, my pigs are eating and getting nutrished. Everything is together. Everything is rolling along. You know, it's a beautiful thing. It's just a beautiful thing. And I said, you know what? When I'm halfway through this job, I might get a little thirsty, and I'll come in the house and get me a nice big glass of milk. And the guy's like, oh man, oh, don't do that to me. But I just thought I'd share that, because if you have a little void in your life and you're thinking, you know, cubicle living, like working in a cubicle all day long or working at some factory or something, that's not it. And you know it. There is a better way, but it's not like instantaneous. You can't just instantly you have to work up to it. And the preparation to get there is part of it. Jill and I lived on the small farm out in Montana for 7 years, 7 years. And, you know, I was working full time. So I was gone 12 hours a day, and you know, we didn't have a whole lot of time to do much, but I was able to contrast my day job with my farm job, and I know which was most fulfilling for me. And it's nice to be able to be home, be with your family too. All right, enough of that. There was a question, and the question had to do with a lady that lives out in California, and she's got 3 Mangalitsa sows. She must have a boar too, but she didn't mention them. And all 3 of them farrowed at the same time, and one of them was a first timer. Oh yeah, give us the thumbs up too. Thumbs up. Thanks, Lone Star. And one of the sows was not doing very well. She didn't say what the problem was, but she says she wasn't doing very well, and should she think about taking the babies off that sow and putting them on the gals that were doing well. And a guy by the name of Hank Will chimed in. I haven't met Hank, but I've just been kind of following him for quite a long time. I mean, years. I think he's the head editor at, what is that magazine publication? I think it's Pastured Poultry. But anyway, he's a smart guy, and he farms as well. And I follow him on Facebook, and he posts pictures and what he's doing, and he does some cool stuff. And he had a good answer for her. And you know, what I'm going to tell you might be diametrically opposed to what you've been told, because I was told before I raised pigs that a baby pig has a specific mother that it goes to and a specific station or teat that it will go to, right? It sounded about right to me. You know, I never really had pigs before, and when I first got them, yeah, somebody told me that. I remember who told me that too. And then we had pigs, and if we had, let's say, 3 sows, which I did, right, for starters, we had 3 sows that farrowed at the same time, and they'd be out in the yard. One would flop over and start grunting, and the babies would race to her, and then another one would flop over, and the ones that couldn't get to a station on number 1 would rush over to number 2, and then number 3 would flop over, and some would go to her. And you start looking at them, it's like, that's not your mother. That's not your mother. They just look for a lunch counter to sit with an open seat. That's all it is. So if you got 3 of them, one of them's not doing good, they'll all figure it out. And that was Hank's answer, and that's my answer too, and that's Jill's answer as well, because we have that going on right now. I got 3 sows out there right now, and there's 27 babies amongst the 3 of them, and they're always switching around. Matter of fact, I made a video today because I was demonstrating the loader, how the loader works. So if you haven't seen that, maybe some of you don't know that there's a Baker's Green Acres Facebook, and the videos, I usually make them on the Facebook, and that's where they are. And sometimes I share them over to the tribe if it's pertinent, or if I just want to, or if I think about it. But I don't know if I did. But it was windy out, not the greatest video. The video was good, but the audio was really tough to listen to because it was so windy. All right, I'm ready to rock and roll. Today was awesome in the news, by the way.
Lone Star wanted to know when the beef butcher class is.
We don't have one scheduled. I do so few of them, but I could do it. I don't have one scheduled, but maybe it's something we need to put on the list of things to do. Maybe when I have some guy living next door to me that can help me with that, that'll be it. And there's Mary coming in with $25. Thanks, Mary. It really helps. Where does Mary live? I don't think we know very much about Mary. We'd kind of like to know if you're in the farming business or what you do. Maybe you could tell us some of that on here.
What about our online? We've got a bunch of online things.
Oh, yeah.
Video courses at Baker's Green Acres.
Yeah, I should tell you about this too. bakersgreenacres.com is our website, and there are things there that you can take advantage of. Video classes that we've created. I star in lots of them, and Jill and Rachel have pieced them together, so I think you can make some sense out of it. But we have fencing and pig castrating and things like that. What else is on there?
fencing, hog butchering.
Hog butchering.
First day.
Yeah.
So how to do the kill, scald and scrape.
Okay. Our hog harvest is a 3-day deal. So day 1 is the kill, scald and scrape, and eviscerate.
How to process chickens and rabbits.
Processing chickens and rabbits. And all of these things have a little bit of a price tag attached to them, and it helps Baker's Green Acres stay fed. So that's where the money goes. Goes to me.
How to
That
harvest
Corvette.
a rabbit. How to process chickens and turkeys. How to harvest a rabbit. How to butcher a pig, part 1. Fencing basics and how to castrate a pig.
Okay. Hope everybody heard that. If you didn't, you can go to Baker's Green Acres and check it out. bakersgreenacres.com. Okay.
When you butcher a pig, what percentage of the fat do you render?
That is a good question. Of course, a lot will leave about a ½ inch of fat on there. That's the way we like it. A lot of people don't like that much fat on their lean. I haven't had a pork chop in a long time, and just thinking about it makes me happy. But if you like to cut more off, then you would render more. Some of the fat we make into lardo, so we don't render it at all. We just salt it and put it in a vac seal, and it cures on its own for later use. So it's really up to you how much of it you want to render. There's 2 different fats, 2 different types of fats, at least. There is the leaf fat. Sometimes it's called the kidney fat. And it's on the inside of the animal. And it's a lot finer and has slightly different texture. It's almost buttery. And the fat that's on the back and the sides, right, like right behind the head, is back fat. And on a Mangalitsa, it can be that thick on big pigs, literally that fat, and it's clear white. And if you do grind that up, you will encounter almost a web of sinew in there, very, very fine, where the leaf fat doesn't have any of that. And it's 2 different types. Both have very specific uses. Probably the leaf fat could be used for just about anything. But when you render the leaf fat, you don't get the cracklings out of it. And the cracklings is that sinew that's in that holds the fat all together. And that's separate of the skin that's on the outside. So it's hard to say what the percentage would be. Yeah, it's hard to say. It just depends on what your family's need for fat is and how you want to use it.
Which is so true of any hog butchering. What you get back just depends on how you cut it and what cuts you want and how much sausage, how much this and that.
What you're going to do with it.
Yep.
And what you like and what a lot of people, I think people must be finding out by now. Here's where they're going to cut me off. This is where they usually cut me off. But so much of what we've been taught is not true. It's almost like we're living in an alternate world. There's so much misinformation that's given to us. Like fat is really bad for you. That's just not true. I mean, we need fat. Our brain is fat. A lot of the fats we take in wind up being lubrication for our joints. We need fat, and not only do we need fat, we need animal fats, and we need good quality animal fats. If you think, well, I'm going to eat healthy, so I'm only going to eat, corn oil as a fat. Corn is not the greatest stuff. I mean, it's in everything, if you think you better eat some because you want to get your daily filling of corn, you're probably getting it from that Mountain Dew that you're drinking too. And everything else, they put it in everything. So if you feed that to pigs, you're not going to get good quality fat out of those pigs. If you just feed them, you know, like factory farm pigs, it's just corn and soy that they get, and then raw protein. That's, who knows what that is, right? So, you know, there is a lot of misinformation, and it's not just about food. It's about like everything. It really is everything. I'm sure you guys are hearing about, well, I won't go into that. If somebody asks me about it, extortion 17, then I'll talk about it. But if you don't, I won't say anything. Next question.
I don't have, someone needs to give you another one. Mary said she's in Northeast
Ohio, right.
4 chickens, 5 beef hives. She's a suburban farmer and a retired
Okay.
vet.
And retired
Vet.
veterinarian?
No, veteran.
Veteran. Wow, you should come see us. Huh. We drop what we're doing for vets, that's for sure. All right, well, if there's no more questions, we can just, we call it a night.
Oh, retired veterinarian.
Veterinarian,
Sorry
well,
about that.
we like veterinarians too. Boy, how do you ever really retire? I don't know. Just not working as a professional veterinarian anymore, probably is what you mean. You know,
It's like being a
doing home stuff.
retired doctor. People
Yeah.
keep always asking you questions. You know,
Yeah.
quite.
Hey, well, that's good to know, because we can defer some questions to Mary from now on when there's health questions, pig health questions or beef health questions, because there's a lot of them over on the tribe. People are having problems, and I'm really impressed with the tribe. Usually somebody's got helpful information. You know, the way it's presented, it's helpful. It's not, you're dumb, you shouldn't have done that. You should do what I do. Be smart like me, you know. It's nice when farmers are nice to other farmers and kind of give them a hand up instead of tell them they screwed up.
So when will you rebreed those sows that just farrowed?
Well, the boar is in with them now. And he was real interested in him about 4 days after, and he mounted him. But that doesn't always mean that they take then. Sometimes it does. Now, I'm not sure. Mary, come to our rescue. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they take 4 days after. They seem to come in, and the boar is real interested in him. But I noticed today he was interested in one of them that he covered a month ago. So I don't think she took, because once they've taken, he doesn't care. Did you get that?
Oh, do you have a separate pen for your meat pigs? You said in your video earlier that the sows are close to the house, so I'm guessing
Yeah.
the meat pigs are separated.
Well, I mean, the terminology here would be like my sows are my breeders, and the ones that I'm just going to separate into another pen and just feed them are feeders, right? And they're going to be used for meat. So you want to give them all that they can eat and, you know, take care of their health and make sure that they're getting the minerals that they need and all that good stuff. And I have an area that I call the grow area, and it's 300 by 100, and it's divided in 3 sections, 3 100 by 100s. And I grow stuff in there for them, and it's configured so I can move them, you know, from pen 1 to pen 3 without having to go through pen 2. And all summer long, we've got stuff growing in there that they can eat. And I've made videos about it, and I'm really impressed with the way it works. I mean, you could scale it up. It could be 1,000 by 1,000 feet instead of 100 by 100. But 100 by 100 feet, if you have to like shovel that much snow, it's a big area. If you are a corn or soy farmer, it's nothing. I mean, it would be, you start up your machinery and move it 100 feet and you're done. But the type of farming we're doing, 10,000 square feet in turnips is a lot of forage for the pigs to eat. So my grow area provides a lot of the food for the animals that I have. But my sows, I don't put them in there anymore. I am keeping them in the sow pen, which is where I'm going to do all my breeding, and that's where they will spend their lives. The sows will spend their lives there. They're on pasture, but there's, it's a half an acre, square half acre. So I don't have it divided up. I could, I suppose, divide it in half and then farm one half of it. And I just haven't, it would require that I put in other gates and things, and I just haven't done that. And I've kind of backpedaled to the place where I'm only keeping 5 sows. That's all I really want to have. And, if you get 2 farrowings per sow per year and you have 5 sows, that could be as many as, let's say, if you get 10 out of each one, so 20, that could be 60 baby pigs. So, is that right? Yeah. No, that's for 3. For 10, it would be, that's 100, all right? So that's a lot of baby pigs. And, I have customers that I take care of as far as selling baby pigs to them, and then we process quite a few of them. But that's a lot of pigs. 5 sows, that's a lot of pigs. So the way I used to do it was I had a 6-acre field. I had actually 2 of them, and if I farrowed on that field, the pigs, there was like 25 sows, so they would go out, find their own place. I didn't keep that good a track of them. So if a litter of 10 came up missing, there was really no way I could be sure that they were actually missing because there's 25 sows out there. And it was okay. It was producing a lot of babies, but that was before the whole pig siege, when Mangalitsa was really going strong, and we thought that we were going to be, major producers for commercial outfits, and we've rethought that. So now we're just much smaller players. So anyway, my sows stay in 1 half-acre pen, and the feeders are in about 1.5 acres, is what that comes out to, I believe. We separate them.
So your 3 rotation pens are just for the feeders, or do the sows end up on there also?
No, the sows don't go there anymore. They have been in the past, but they're not going to be going there anymore. We're not going to be doing that.
All right. Does raw milk need to be heated?
No. That reminds me, I could really use a glass of raw milk right about now. I'll be fine though.
Why don't you want to heat it?
Cream. Why do you want to heat it? Does it need to be heated?
Yeah. Does raw milk need to be heated?
No, it does not need to be heated. You're talking about pasteurization, and there's a whole train of thought on that if you'd like me to go into it, but okay, well, we're mammals, and cows are mammals. The milk that they put out has enzymes in it to aid their calves in the breakdown of that milk, so it can be made available for the calf to live on. The fats and the proteins and all that needs to be able to break down in the calf's stomach to go to the parts of the calf that need to be built and rebuilt and things like that. Same with us when we're drinking milk, when we're a baby from our mothers. It's got those enzymes in it. It's active. It's when you drink from your mother, it's raw, right? You don't heat that up. So when you run it through the pasteurization process, you're heating it up in order to kill everything in it. And it's sort of like if everything has to break down. Everything's designed to break down. A dead squirrel, you leave it there and it's going to break down. It's going to become part of the earth again. But if you somehow spray it down with preservative, or you, like what they do with human bodies, they pump them full of pickle, they won't break down. It's really not a good idea to do that. I don't know who came up with that idea. Probably the pharaohs did that. But the milk, if it were left out, it would just break down and go back to the earth. And the compost pile inside of us will do that. And then our body can use the fats and proteins. But you run it through the pasteurization process, and your body doesn't really know what to do with it, right? Because it's like if you eat a peanut, or let's say a green bean, your body is like, okay, I know what to do with this. And it breaks it down, it sends some of it here, sends some of it here, sends some of it here. But then you eat a crayon, and your body's like, what is this? I don't know what to do with this. Expel now, and it'll send it right out. Or some of the make-believe foods that we have, like let's say Cheetos. Well, I shouldn't throw stones at Cheetos. Maybe a lot of people like Cheetos, but stuff like that. Your body is like, well, I don't know what to do with this. It appears to be food. I'll just put it in storage. We'll take care of it later. Well, that's not good, because a lot of people are storing a lot of that stuff. So, yeah, I say don't do that. And, when we want to talk about upside down world, if I polled 10 people, right, just walked out and said, here in Michigan, probably even on the road that I live, you say, where can I get some raw milk around here? They would be like, raw milk? That's dangerous. You can't drink raw milk. Plus, it's illegal. People will say that. I'm not kidding. Not even a little bit. Because that's what they have been told. Now, why have they been told that? Why have they been told that? You dig into that and you'll find out the reasons why. Why do people believe that it's illegal to buy raw milk? Is raw milk, is it right on that controlled roster of illegal substances right next to crack cocaine? Is raw milk and then crack cocaine? No. Is it there with marijuana? Is it there with certain types of explosives? No, it isn't. You can possess raw milk. They can't pick you up for possession. Why is that being done? That's being done so that a guy like me can't have 10 cows and sell milk raw and have a little milk route that I run to, say, 40 customers, right? Because if I did that, I would benefit, but who would not benefit from it? The factory farms. But not so much the factory farms, it's more like the distributors of milk. And so that's why it's just about, the regulations about raw milk. You got to always ask the question, who benefits? Cui bono? Who benefits from this regulation which is not a law, a regulation from the USDA about raw distribution of raw milk. Who benefits from that? And then if these guys benefit, who doesn't benefit? We don't. But you want to dig into it a little further. I have a friend, and you guys may know her. She created the movie Farmageddon, right? She had a son that when he was up till the time he was about 7 years old, he was a really sickly kid. He had allergies to everything. He couldn't have toys. He couldn't eat hardly anything. He was weak. They couldn't take him outside. He was like the boy in the bubble. And she had tried everything, and they tried everything. And then somebody said to her one time, maybe if you give him raw milk. I've heard that. And there's an organization out there called the Weston A. Price Foundation. If you don't know about, you should look into it because you probably have health problems that you don't even know that you have. And you can identify all those things through that organization, Weston A. Price Foundation. And so she got her son some raw milk. And what was the time frame on that? It was months, right, to where he was out playing. He was able to go to school. He wound up going to college on a full scholarship for hockey, right? Raw milk, right? But you'll hear stories about raw milk. You could get a rash from that. It's just like taking vitamin C for you name it. And the FDA will come out and say, you can get diarrhea from that. You should be careful with that. Here, take this chemotherapy. This is a lot better for you. It's unbelievable, the upside down world that we're in. Hydrochloroquine. Oh, not hydrochloroquine. You can't take that. I'm surprised that won't get me thrown off YouTube. Just saying HCQ, hydrochloroquine. Anyway, so no, you don't want pasteurized milk. Nowadays, everybody and their brother is lactose intolerant. Nobody was lactose intolerant when I was a kid. And I wasn't even a kid. I would have been 30 and nobody was lactose intolerant. I didn't even hear about lactose intolerance until I moved here. So in the last 15 years, right? Now everybody's lactose. Every family's got a lactose intolerance. Who's lactose intolerant here? I'm lactose intolerant. It's nuts. So why all of a sudden have human beings, why do we all of a sudden have this aversion to milk when our whole country was grown up on milk? What's changed? Well, there's a lot of speculation on that, but I know I can't really say, but a lot of people who are lactose intolerant have lactose intolerance. When they get a hold of raw milk and they drink it with an open mind, it goes right through them, no problem. And they can benefit from the milk. Milk has a lot of good stuff in it. I've heard the horror stories about milk, how, all it does is clog up our guts and then. You know what? My kids they grew up on raw milk. All of them did. Their eyes sparkle, their hair shines. Every one of them is healthy as a horse. And we've all drank raw milk. And I crave it. Like, I could really use a glass of it right now. But I can hold off for another 10 minutes, maybe. Do you have another question?
Yeah. Brittany wanted to know, how do you decide when it's time to grow a pig for yourself? We have a pig going to butcher Monday, but don't need another pig in the freezer, but we think come spring we should save another one.
Well, I think you would be the one that's going to figure that out. you're going to want an overlap, in the freezer just to be safe. It's when you get used to eating good meat and then you kind of run out and you got to go to the store and buy it, which has not happened to us for, I don't think we've bought any meat from the store since we've lived here, have we? I don't think we did.
Meat?
Yeah,
No.
no. Because it's a disappointment, when you say, oh, we're having steak for dinner tonight, and then you get, what is this, Or, the biggest disappointment, I think, is bacon. Oh, and there was a good thing on the Tribe the other day. Troy Stroud, I talked to him today too. He did a comparison of our bacon, Baker's Green Acres bacon, MSU, Michigan State University, and his bacon from his pigs. They weren't Mangalitsas, but they were, raised pretty good on some pretty good stuff. And he didn't quite come out and rate them by number one, number two, but when you read them, it was definitely Baker's Green Acres was in the lead, And when you get used to good bacon, I saw this thing the other day. What do you do with leftover bacon? Leftover bacon? There's never any leftover bacon. It doesn't matter how much you make. It's gone. I see a question there. Do we ever eat out? Not in a long time. Well, I take that back. We went out the Sunday before last to get acorns. This is acorn season. And when we were coming home, it just seemed like the thing to do to stop, and there was a little grill type thing, Marty's Grill up in Lake City. And we went in, got a pizza.
Jim's favorite line about pizza. Why don't we just hate ourselves and go eat pizza?
Hate ourselves, yeah, everybody. Yeah, I get a hangover from eating pizza. It's like I just drank about 4 beers. I just get a headache from it, and I don't sleep good. I don't want to get used to it. But I do like it. It tastes good going down. But, jelly donuts do too. But I know better by now. If I want to have a good quality digestive experience, I try to stay away from that. But yeah, we used to more, but it's my wife is a super cook, and when you have your own food and the vegetables at any restaurant, it's just so much better. Can't really think of the last time we ate someplace and we came out and said, boy, that was a good meal. Let's go back. I don't think that.
We haven't been in there in a long
But we haven't been in a long time because
Not since March.
they got their crazy things and waitress. I'm not into that. So, another question? I don't know if I answered Brittany. But when you start getting low, reload. Get a bigger freezer. Learn to process your own.
Yeah, well, and when you learn to process your own, then you start processing more of the pig into what you eat.
Yeah.
So if you like pork chops and steaks, like you do, we cut more steak roasts because that's all we use. So when you cut your own, it maximizes what's in your freezer because it's the food that you want, rather than what the
butcher decides to send to you.
Yeah. So learn to do your own, Brittany.
There you go.
Lone Star wanted to know how many pounds of bacon do you typically get off one large pig?
Oof. Large is a subjective term, right? Is that the word I'm looking for? So a big pig, but so is a 300 pounder, but a 500 pounder is way bigger. And then the bacon on that will be that thick. So you you got strips coming off like this, you know, off of a 300 pounder. What would you say each slab is worth? Because
About
it
20.
about 20.
20 to 20. Well, a 300 pounder.
The ones
20,
were
25 to 28, depending on how you cut it.
the ones we're doing while you're here. I would reckon they're going to be about 400. Wouldn't you? Yeah, they're on the big side, and yeah,
You get a lot.
you get a lot. You get a lot.
A few rows.
Huh?
Oh, I was reading. Brittany said that she knows they have a few roasts. Oh, Lone Star wanted to know when you're going to have a fencing class next door.
Next door. Yeah, when you get here, we'll have a class. We'll have a class. Yeah, that would be good. We could have a lot of the tribesters out. Hey, come on out. We're going to fence off Lone Star's place. Yeah, well, there's a lot of fencing to do over there, that's for sure. Yeah. Huh. Thanks for the super chat there, Lone Star. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's all I've got.
That's it for questions? Wow. Appreciate all the thumbs up. See, we got a nice crowd here. Question and answer usually packs them in. The other night, when I couldn't get on, it was Monday night, just to kind of bolster my argument about those numbers not being everything. I couldn't get it to connect. And so the little bit that I did make was just kind of hanging there, and I went on to delete it, and it said that 62 people had watched it. And like, we never have 62. It says to me right there, all little, maybe each one of those numbers represents something else, but it says right now for me, it says 31 and then 21 thumbs up, which we need a few more thumbs up, I guess. I don't really know what it does, but everybody says, please give us thumbs up. Can I buy thumbs up?
It tweaks the algorithm.
Tweaks the algorithm?
So
Okay.
that more people see the videos
Yeah.
and more people get the information.
Well, if this was just like if we're sitting down with a small group of people to have coffee with on Wednesday night, you know, would I turn the neon sign out in front of the farm to get more people to come in? I probably wouldn't. I'd say 31, that's a lot of people. That's just good enough. I mean, do you get, you know, more stardom?
Well, it just helps spread the word to more people.
Yeah.
So
I
they
guess.
show it to more people.
Yeah.
Mr. J wanted to know how
Hollywood
long does
calls.
it take to get a 400-pound pig?
These guys are 2 years old, right? These, there was something going on with these gals because they're sows and they never caught. But they were in with Friendly, who was our last boar, went down the road. But then I had him in with Marty, the Michigami grazer, and he mounted them. We thought it was a done deal, but they never showed. We were planning on farrowing them and then using them for the class, but they never did farrow. So they've never caught in their life. They're just old maids. Spinsters is what they are. All right, we're at 61 minutes. If there are no other questions, we may have some openings for one of the classes. I think we have one seat for the first, the November class. Don't we? Joe Marhar's?
No, he was in December.
He was in December. Okay, I take that
And
back.
that's the one that we contacted Dan. So.
Yeah. So yeah, there may be an opening in December, but not for sure yet. But there may actually be 2 openings because if we take this, this gig in January, it's just down the road from their house, so they may just go to that one and it will give us 2 seats in December. If we do, I'll give you guys a heads up, and those ticket prices have gone way up since COVID. It was $500 for the class, but I think we're gonna have to charge about $1,500 because of COVID, you know. And I would like to go a little longer tonight, add a little bit more value, but because of COVID, I'm gonna have to sign off. Yeah, I'm gonna invite the senator to the class, yeah. What a loser. What a loser that guy is. I can't believe it. All right, I'll brief on that tomorrow night too, what all went down and what was said. And there was a good lesson was taught to us. So we'll pick it up tomorrow night. Worked good tonight, didn't it? But it was a question and answer. Tomorrow night I'm going to be throwing stones at a senator, so they may just cut me off. All right, if there's nothing else, I'm going to sign off, go get myself a glass of milk, and chill. Anyone can farm. Good night now.